right. All right. First of all, welcome to the new world of Prorituals. I'm William Whatley. I am the artistic director for Prorituals. Our little band of professional brands: Crack Hair Fix, our Jaguar Shears, our Propigments. But today we're going to be going over our cream line, the Prorituals cream line, comparing it to what you guys are using now and how we're going to transition you very easily to the Prorituals creams. I don't want any of you guys to be scaredy cats because it's going to be really easy. So first out of the bat, before we go any further, I just want to say why Prorituals, why Perfect Look, why the new distributorship BMI chose Prorituals. I was with Scruples for probably 8 or 9 years, so I was there when High Def was made. I was there when True Integrity was made. I was there when Illusionist and the other one is Hypnotic. I hear Danny in the background. He's my Western region colorist and I'm a husband of 23 years. So whoever said you can't work and live together is absolutely correct.
Okay, have them pop into the screen, William.
Danny, come here.
Yeah, tell Danny.
Come here. They want to see you.
I want to say hi.
Deborah wants to say hi. He's like, I gotta find a shirt.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Well, get your pants first. Oh, this one's going to be a cray-cray day, but it's going to be good education. So, Danny, just pop your head in here so they can see you.
You can say hi.
That's Deborah, Will, Jesse, and the whole gang at Perfect Look in Oregon. All right, so let's start off with the Prorituals. First of all, Prorituals is a, again, where you're coming from is a Italian-based color line. So is Prorituals. Prorituals is designed with the same ingredients, the same depth of color. It's a double dye load product, but ours is a double dye load, but also it is micropigmented. I just want to start off with directions from Deborah. Your guide for picking your colors, when you're going to decide what level they are with the Prorituals, when you're finding your level finder for True Integrity to Prorituals, I want you to use your natural series. This is your level finder for Prorituals to True Integrity. When you are using your level finder for high definition, I want you to use in the Prorituals your fundamentals. And I'll explain why later, because this is basically our neutral warm, but we call it fundamentals because it can be used as a regular color, or you can use it as an anchor in any other fashion tone. But this matches, our fundamentals match the neutrals of high definition perfectly, because these are lighter shades than the creams. Creams are always going to be 2 shades, 1.5 to 2 shades darker than your creams or than your gels. So with Prorituals, for your level finders, for True Integrity, make sure you use your natural series. For your level finder for your high definition, use your fundamentals, and we'll go through that. But those are your two level finders, and these are going to be lifesavers, because if you want to make sure what your target color is and where you're going, and even if you're going from a level 4 to a level 8, it's going to be different in your creams and in your gels, and we'll explain that later. I just want to just go through our color ranges. We have 20 different color series in the Prorituals portfolio of colors. So that means that there's 20 different color series, but then there is 73 or 74 colors. Right now, with working with Will and Deborah, we have kind of gone through and skinnied these up so that we can get you guys going on it. And then as we get going, when you get the book, if you see something in the book that's not on the shelf, we'll start working that towards you. But right now, they've really done a brilliant job on getting you the products or the colors in the salons that sell and that are used. We don't want you to get a color that just sits on the shelf. So in the Prorituals Naturals, you have, of course, 1 to 10. Our natural leans very, very, very cool. So I just want you guys to remember, in the naturals, it is going to live in your Scruples natural ash. So if you're going to use a neutral, just remember it leans cool. So go over to your natural ashes in True Integrity so that you get your right comparison. Okay? Those are going to live in your natural ashes. So because they're so cool. And the reason why, guys, is because Italian color has got so much depth to it, and the technology behind Prorituals is called chromoprism technology. It's a mouthful, but you're used to a technology that I understand completely. It's the PBX, and it protects the color molecule. It helps it collect together, and drives it into the hair shaft. So does ours, but our chromoprism technology works more so because ours is a double dilode, but it's micropigmented. So I want you to visualize that you have a vase that's a clear vase. It's, I don't know, 2 feet tall and a cylinder. And in that is filled with red golf balls. And the same size cylinder beside it is filled with red little marbles. That is the Prorituals micropigment. So visualize that. So that means you're going to have 4 times the amount of color when it's formed into a color cluster and laying on the cortical layer of the hair shaft after it's been swelled and opened inside the hair. Our fadage factor, you're going to see, is so minimal. When they come back I have so many clients that come back and go, my color didn't fade, even on reds. Even on reds that I have a client that is 50% gray, and I put my reds formulas on them, they come back, they have no fadage. They just have an outgrowth, and their fadage is very minimal. So just remember, ours is micropigmented, double diluted, but it is done, our chromoprism technology, in simple terms, when the color cluster forms, it all colors color in chemistry. So when color clusters form, hopefully they've swelled the cuticle layer enough that it's opened, so that when you add your developer and your color together and the energy or the oxidation starts to happen, that it's happening inside the hair shaft. So once it's inside the hair shaft, the color starts to form, and it starts to form into a cluster. Everybody else's forms in a sphere. Color clusters form in a sphere. So imagine this is your color, and it's starting to form inside your hair shaft, and you've hopefully swelled that up, and it's got enough ammonia in there to open up your cuticle layer so that it's starting to form inside and close to the cortical layer. So what happens with ours is it doesn't make a perfect circle. So this has a little bit of its micropigments hanging off. This has a little bit of micropigments hanging off. But what happens is it gives us a great delivery system right under the cortical layer, but all these extra color molecules that didn't form spherically around the color molecule locks right on to the cortical layer. So we have an amazing newer technology of a delivery system, but also a locking system onto the cortical layer inside the hair shaft. That is one of the point of distinctions of Prorituals Color. So that's just, and if you want to, we'll go in further on chromoprism technology, but that's that in a nutshell as far as how it works. So again, we have our naturals, our fundamentals, and our beiges, our chocolates. So what I want to do today is I'm just going to go right straight across. I talked to Deborah yesterday, and we kind of are trying to improve each Zoom so we get as much information as possible. So I'm going to go all the way across from Prorituals to True Integrity, True High Def, because I know that there's probably, from what I've been told, maybe half of the people are still using high def, and if that's correct, Deborah, just wave at me. Okay, so so I want to make sure that I help you because I want this to be an easy transition. So let me just go through this. So we have a beige, we have a chocolate, we have a tobacco, we have a mocha, we have our golds, and they are a yellow gold base. We also have our suns, and they're a yellow orange base. And then we have a Titan, a level 6 Titan red, and that is a great red to use to brown out anything, like if you want to add a scarlet, but they've got a little bit, they're 50% gray, add a little bit of your Titan to that. It'll help brown it out and help cover your gray, and it'll give you a beautiful color. Then we have our violet reds, which are our RVs, and then we have Auburns, and then we have our scarlets, and our scarlets are beautiful. And I got some mannequin heads today, I'll show you. And then we have our super lifts. This is something that you guys are not used to because we have a level 12 in Prorituals. Where you're coming from, they don't have a level 12. So, and then we also have our high lifts, and our high lifts are level 10s, and we have a super light blonde, we have a silver pearl, and a super light ash blonde. And then we have our cool series. I don't want you guys to be confused on your color chart. Everybody's gonna get a color chart, a comparison chart. This is all gonna go out so that you guys all have this, and you know, right before you do your client, just run to the back and read it. Because, you know, when you're sitting there with the client, you're like, yeah, I know how to do that. I know how to do that. And then as soon as you walk away from your client and you walk in the back room, you're like, where the hell is that color chart at?
So true.
So I know I've been doing hair for 35 years. So trust me, I have prayed to the color god a million times, and only a couple of times has she answered. So make sure that they're going to get you your color chart out, or your comparison chart that'll come that you guys will have to work off Um, our cool series is in. I just want to make sure that you guys understand this, because in True Integrity, the C means copper, but in Prorituals, the C means cool. So even though it's under an ash category, our 5 cool is True Integrity's 5 ash, but when you bring it over to high definition, because our cool is a blue violet base, that is a perfect match for 5 ash in True Integrity, but also a great match for the 4BV in high definition. So don't be afraid that you're gonna, because 4BV is one of the main, 4BV, 4G, 8G, 00, 10BGs. Those are your main color formulas that you're using in most of your high definition formulas. We've got you covered. So I just don't want you guys to be freaking out about going from gels to creams. The difference between gels and creams as far as the client's concerned, it's going to last longer, it's going to be shinier, and the fadage factor is going to be minimal. A little caveat to that is if you want to soften up your high definition to more of a semi or a softer or a blend color, because I feel high definition is more of a natural salon color, more so than a cream color that is got more depth, more shine, and it gives you a little bit harder line of outgrowth. High definition gives you a blend, gives you a nice blend grow out. So if you're going to shift over, just remember that you can always go to a 5 volume with high definition, and it'll give you more of a softer blend. You might need to leave it on a little bit longer, so you make sure you get that full deposit on the downside, because it's not the upside of energy of processing that gets you your end results. It is your downside deposit. So as long as if you pick the right level of developer, you're going to get your energy and your level of lift. But if you don't leave it on long enough on the hair on the downside for those color clusters to form inside the cortical layer, you're going to wind up with it being formed on the shelf and underneath the cuticle layer and some on the top of the cuticle layer. And we don't want that to happen. So we got levels 12, we got levels 10s, and we got our ashes. And again, our ashes are cools. So that's going to be True Integrity's ashes and high definitions cools. And that is your 4BVs. And all the way across, even in your cools, what we did is we started at a level 5, 4BV, and then a level 6 is going to be a cooler 4BV, and it goes all the way to a 9. And we want you to be able to think of what you're going to do on cooler, all the way from a level 5 to a level 9 on your high definition. Then we have our mahogany reds and our, I have to show you this. This is our mahogany reds are a red-violet base. And our mahogany reds are let me find it. Our mahogany reds are going to be your mahogany reds, but our 4M is going to be TI's 4M, but it's going to be in the mahogany red level 6 RM. You're going to be able to get a 6 and a 5 from our mahogany red. And then we go to our, we call it a plum, and it's our purple intensifier. Let me find my purple intensifier. Danny used, I wanted to give you a couple little, this is, it looks a little red here, but this is purple intensifier added with just a little bit of the scarlet red. It's really, really purple here. You can see it more purple there. This is a great color. Yesterday, I had some questions about blackberries, and I had a lot of thinking to do. So with your True Integrity blackberries, your 5i is going to be your primary color. So if you want to add more depth to it, then you can go in and add your a mahogany red, or you can go back over and add an auburn to it. So that'll give you a little bit more of a brown blackberry. So I don't want you guys to think that you don't have the series. It's just going to take you a couple of times just to figure out that blackberry begins with the 5i intense purple. That's where you're going to get your nice blackberries from. Then we have, this is one of our main products. It's called 10LB, Lightener Booster. Guys, you're going to read through here, and I want you to read this. Read everything on the book, everything in the book on the front page, everything in the book on the back page, and then where the color wheel is. This will tell you where everything lives. This will tell you where every color lives that's in here. But the 10LB was designed because, you know, and Deborah can contest, and everybody that's been doing hair, you know, back when I started doing hair, they had red, black, and blonde. And it was like as high, the ammonia was like 30%. So we'd have clients come into the salon that didn't shampoo their hair for 8 days, and they'd sit there and say, well, I knew I was getting my hair colored today, so I haven't shampooed it for a month. Well, today, hair color is so much more refined. The highest ammonia level in any of these colors, even in our level 12, is 1.8. So if you want to push that over, let's say you're at say you're going from a 7 to a 10, and I truly believe that you need that 40 volume sometimes doesn't get you to the that 4 levels of lift. I think that you can do a 30 vol, and if you add the Lightener Booster, which is 3% ammonia, what that's going to do, it's going to activate that color molecule and help it form even a tighter color cluster, and it's going to push that color over the level. A higher developer, all that does is release more energy. It's just breaking down the color molecule, whether it's artificial or whether it is natural. Has nothing to do with developer. Peroxide has nothing to do with forming the color cluster in an oxidative dye. It is the ammonia and the ingredients in the color dye load that creates the color cluster. You need both, one to create energy and one to create a color cluster. So just remember that using your 10LB, and I use this sometimes in every level above 8. because if I'm trying to push in and get it a little bit richer, get it a little bit deeper, I'll boost my ammonia, because ammonia, you have to use ammonia. And then this is a stabilized ammonia, and it will make your colors shinier, make them last longer, and it helps get your color clusters formed even tighter and makes those locking mechanisms hang on even longer. So don't be afraid to use your lightener booster, and you guys do have this. And let me tell you how to use it. If you're using it by grams, I always hate to say a ribbon or a toothbrush. So if you're doing, let's say an ounce is 30 grams. So if you're mixing up a formula that's got 30 grams or 1 ounce of color, we always, our color is equal parts. But the key to this is that our tube is 3.4 ounces. So compared to Scruples, I think it's 2.05, right, Deborah?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So you're actually getting in the salon a application and a half if you're just doing outgrowth. But if you're going to do a head that's got hair, you know, past their shoulders, you should be able to do it with 1 tube, not 2 tubes.
Mhm.
But I would still, in your mind and also in the office's mind, if you use a full 3.5 ounce tube, I don't know if you guys do this, but if I open a second tube of color, I charge more on longer hair. So, so if you're using a full tube of Prorituals 3.5 ounce color, there needs to be an upcharge for that. That's considered excessive amount of color, and it's on longer or thicker hair. And that client's going to know that. You know, you just need to reiterate that in a consultation. Say that, you know, this is going to take, you know, more than the average application amount. So I would just address that in the consultation so that there's no surprises. But make sure that you use your 10 lb. It'll help you in so many different ways. I've kind of gone through all of our series that we have, but I want to compare them now to what they are, because you guys all have the book, and you will be getting the book, you'll be getting the comparison chart. But I just want to make sure that you guys understand that these are the same colors, they're just different names. Each company names something different. So now we're kind of learning a new terminology, so you don't have to be afraid. So so we make sure that we go through this. Our natural series leans cool. So just know if you want a natural ash that you normally would pick in TI, you're going to use our Prorituals Naturals. So Naturals is your natural ash, and your naturals over to your Scruples High Def is your cools. So by just pigment dye load and how gels live compared to how a cream lives, you're going to drop 2 levels. So that, for example, if you're wanting a level 2 in high definition, you're going to go a two pool. You're going to just go right across, and it's going to be a level 4 natural, because our natural leans cool. So it's going to be, our 4 is going to be high definitions 2, but it's going to be TI's in A series. Everybody following me? I can't hear you. Unmute yourself.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, the key part to the fundamentals. So we're going to switch down to fundamentals. So our fundamentals, in all sense and purposes for you guys, I just want you to remember the fundamentals, we just call them fundamentals, but they are a um, there are neutral warm, but in the TI life, they live in your naturals, and they live in your Scruples neutrals. So these are your naturals because they lean warm, and TI leans warm. So does high def. You're going to find that your colors are going to be a little richer, a little brighter, a little shinier because of the categories of how we're comparing from naturals to neutral warms. So um, so for example, fundamentals for fun is going to be your naturals in TI because it is warmer. It's going to be your 5N, and it's going to walk right over, and now it's going to be your 2 neutral in your high definition. So in one chart, one series, you've got your naturals and your neutrals in one chart. So you don't have to be flipping through the book. That's why I want you to use your, for high definition, I want you to use your fundamentals for your target chart, and in your high def, I want you to use, or in your TI and Prorituals, I want you to use your naturals. So once you get to your cools, which is your ashes, ours is 5C, which means cool, not copper. That is TI's ash level. So and it's straight across the board. Our 5 cool, which is a blue violet, is 5 ash, and which comes across to 4 BV. Then we move down to our beiges. Our beiges is just, you're just going to flip the name. So our 8 beige is a violet base, but it is ash gold in the Scruples TI. So 8 beige is 8AG in TI. 9 beige is 9AG in True Integrity. There is, when you go across, there is no beige in the high def series. So that's blank. Now, what I really like about this is that our chocolate is a 4, and CH is the abbreviation for chocolate. But our 4 chocolate, our 5 chocolate, and our 6 chocolate in the True Integ, or in the Prorituals line literally runs across, and our chocolate translates to True Integrity's mahogany gold. So 4 chocolate is your 4 mahogany gold, or 4MG. 5 chocolate is your 5MG. 6 chocolate is your 6MG. But what's the great thing about this is, from going to a cream to a gel, is Deborah and I figured out that you actually have in that category a chocolate brown. And we put it at level 5, but it could live in level 4 and level 6 by how you tweak it. Does that make sense to everybody? I can't hear you, Deborah.
I'm
Say
sorry.
that again.
I'm sorry. I had you on mute. I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to mute me, ever.
No, I was on mute, so you couldn't hear me.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
yeah. But my ears were burning, so.
Okay.
But we put the chocolate brown in the high def in the chocolate series from Prorituals, and then the mahogany gold. But you actually do have a chocolate brown in the gel series, the high definition series. But we put it to where it lives in a level 5, but it can be tweaked to a 4, or it can be tweaked to a 6, just by using some common sense techniques. Whether you use a little, you might want to, if let's say if it's a if you want uh, the chocolate brown, you can always add a little bit more developer to get a 6. You can always add a little less developer to get a 4. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, and this is really exciting because this is another series we have. We call it tobacco. Tobacco is one of my favorite colors because it's like a caramel, but it's not brassy and it's not ashy, but it has some richness to it. And even our 7 tobacco kind of leans into the honey colors. So it's a real pretty color. And it's great to mix with mochas. It's great to mix with your Alburns. I mean, it gives that hair a lot of dance to the color. I personally never have one color ever put on the hair. Even if I'm doing a monochromatic color, I will take a level 4. Let's say it's a 4 Auburn. I'll take a level 4 Auburn. I'll do my roots. I'll pull it to the coal shaft. And then I have a technique where I will squirt just a little bit of water on the mid shaft and the ends. So it adds a little bit of moisture to the hair so that when I pull my color through, I've evened out the porosity so that you don't get it spotty on the ends and it doesn't go darker. But what I'll do is I'll take and add just another maybe 5 volume in my leftover bowl, just a half an ounce, and just stir that back up, put that back on, emulsify it from the scalp, and then I'll pull it through so that I wind up from a 4 to a 4.5, so that they don't have a monochromatic color all the way through the shaft. Because you want to make the client know that that they can't just go out and buy, replace you with one color. And even if you're manipulating one level by how you're applying it and how you're shearing it, I always do that at the bowl. But I always let them know that I'm going to do your base of 4, but God never makes somebody with one solid color. There's all kinds of little colors in there. So I'm going to try to do as close as I can so it looks natural. So that's where the chocolate brown comes in. Now our tobacco is gonna go over and it's gonna live in the mocha series in the TI, the True Integrity, but it's the 7 GV. So that would be the gold violet. So our tobacco lives in TI's GV series. So 5 tobacco is 7 GV, 6 tobacco is 8 GV. But the great thing about this is that we also have a tobacco mocha feel for the Scruples high definition. So our 6 tobacco will give you a beautiful gold tobacco feel with 4G. So you can use a 4G to get a tobacco. So, and then a 5G is going to give you your 7 tobacco. I'm really proud of these things, and I don't know if you guys have them on the table yet or not, but I worked very hard to get Prorituals to make these and to take the expense, because there's nothing worse than trying to show a client what their color is going to look like with a chart. You know, you're trying to visualize a client and say, oh, this is going to be a beautiful color. They only see this little inch color. Let's say it's a brown, an auburn, and they don't get, they're not as creative as we are. They can't visualize. So what I did is every single color that is in our Prorituals book is on a 5-inch color swatch. So when you're in the salon, you can take this and use it in your consultation so that you can upsell. You know, if somebody is, you know, they've only done, you know, level 6 for 5 years, you know, it's okay. Have them, you know, say, you know, I would love to do just a few little baby lights to frame your face. But if you've got a tool that can visualize and show that to them, and again, every single color that's in the book is on the chart. You've got your reds, you've got your browns, you've got your neutrals, you've got even your metallics. They're all on there. I mean, these are, if you got a blonde in your chair, lay this on her head. She's gonna go crazy. And I don't know about you guys, but we never do less than 3 colors on the head for blondes because of tonal value. And I'll explain a little bit when we get there, but there are 10 levels. We actually have 12 levels in our high lifts, but at each level, there is there's 10 levels, but in each level of hair, there's 12 shades. So you could have, you could go 5 shades up in level 8, but you're still in a level 8. So shades and levels are completely different. So especially when you're dealing with blondes, these blondes could definitely be in the same level, but they're completely different shade in that level. So this will help you with clients in consultations. I have these in every single consultation. Now, what I definitely do is I pick out the colors that I want because they're already looking at their Pinterest, at their pieces of paper that they've been carrying around for 30 years, and they're like, no hairdresser's ever been able to get my hair to look like this, you know, but I've been told that you're good, you know. Well, we're all good, but you can't turn Kathy Griffith into Angelina Jolie. We're just not that good. So I always say, tell me what I cannot do, and then we'll go from there. Find out what they hate. Find out what they have left their other hairdresser for, and then fix that problem. Clients leave hairdressers because they're not getting what they want from them. So I always start off with a joke or whatever. It's like, tell me what I can't do and then shut up. Because I learn more from you from what I can't do than, because they're going to say, you can't cut my length. You can't give me layers. You can't give me bangs. You can't, you're going to learn more from what you cannot do than, so what are we doing today? So what do you want? You know, they're coming to you as professionals, so you need to have input. And these tools, when you come up with tools like these in a book, and you're looking at their eye tone, you're looking at their skin tones, you know, you're really taking a look at their hair shaft for the porosity, the tensity of the hair, they're going to know that you're a professional and you know what you're talking about. So I always call that perceived value. The perceived value to me shifts you from being a mechanic to being an artist. Who gets paid more money? an artist. Most of the time, and I'm not saying mechanic, trust me, I got a car that costs me crazy amount of money every time it goes to the mechanic. But thank God he's not an artist, he's just a mechanic. You know, my paint job costs way more than my tune-up. So just remember, you know, try to shift yourself and be present that when you're standing behind your client, and then now with the COVID thing, I always was in front of my client and I never moved my chair away from my mirror. But it's kind of difficult now with all the COVID. So at one point we'll get there. So that is a tool that we have. And you got your lightener booster, which will help you increase your ammonia content to help you get over any level, bump up any level that you need to. And then this is the thing, guys. We have an amazing lightener. I don't know how many of you guys have used the lightener yet. I know that we're coming out of the testing phase and it's going into the salons. This is our blue lightener. This also comes from Italy, and it is a heavier molecule. And I do this for every class. If you take your lightener and it doesn't like literally fall flat to the ground, it's not a heavier molecule. The reason why I like ours is that when it goes to the ground, that's telling me that it's got a heavier ammonia molecule. So this is going to penetrate deeper into the hair shaft so that you're not going to wind up getting unwanted splotchiness with lightener. So just make sure you choose your right developer. Now, we have one more ingredient. This is called Dream Oil. This is to be added to all of your lightening. And I also use this in anything above a 20 volume in my high lifts. It's going to protect it. It really goes in there. It works with your chromo prism technology, gives you that extra amount of coating and super shine. Again, you're only going to need maybe 1/8 of an ounce or 10 to 15 grams, but this needs to be used in every single bleach application or lightener application. I never say bleach on the floor anymore. I always say lightener, you know, and I usually say we're going to be doing a soft lightening on you today so that we can get you to the color that we want. Bleach is a bad word in our industry now. So, but make sure you're using your Dream Oil in your blue lightener. And then you can take your blue lightener with your Dream Oil, and let's say you're going to do an all over bleach, an all over on the scalp lightener. You want to use, if you're using, you know, 1.5 ounces or 2 ounces of powder to 2 ounces of developer, you're going to need to use at least 1/4 of an ounce of your Dream Oil so that it will become a scalp, on the scalp lightener. You don't have to have a separate lightener, that one's for on the scalp and one's for foiling or balayaging. Our blue lightener and our Dream Oil now make this on the scalp. It says 11 essential oils for the Mediterranean. It's got all the soft ingredients that are going to protect the hair, and it also works with the with our chromo prism technology. And then another little trick that I have with Dream Oil, I was talking to Deborah about this. I can't raise my prices anymore. I'm at a plateau. If I raise my prices, I'm going to get a client that I hate. They're going to be really bitchy, and you know, they're so super high maintenance. I already have high maintenance clients, and I love high maintenance clients. But if I raise my prices, I'm going to get the ones that, you know, they you know, want you to like go to their house and they're just. And I live in Las Vegas, so they're cray-cray. So I have to widen my menu. So you guys are getting a product called Crack Hair Fix. Unbelievable treatment line. That's also a Robanda brand. It's also a brand that I am the artistic director of. If you take that influx that you're going to be getting with that and you mix it with your dream oil, take it in the back and nuke it for just 30 seconds because they're at the shampoo bowl. After you've done a beautiful color treatment on them and you've shampooed them out, they're laying in the shampoo bowl. Now their head's cold. If you take and nuke this just for about 30 seconds, towel dry them, set them back up, and start applying this back to their scalp, and then pull it. They're like, oh my gosh. Now I always go and get a few bottles of my little tea tree oil, and I'll put a couple little drops in my formula of my oil, of my hot oil treatment, so they smell it and they feel a spa treatment. I have never had one client that I've been in the bowl behind them and said, you know, hey, Jackie, you know what? I think it's time for a hot oil treatment. They're like, oh, I haven't had a hot oil treatment since VO5, you know? So we're kind of making a circle, but they're like, you really think I need a hot oil treatment? I said, feel your hair. I said, we're doing the best that we can with the color that we've got, but you just went from a level 6 to a level 11, you know? So at least 3 times a year, I would recommend a hot oil treatment. Now, my hot oil treatments are this price because I'm in Las Vegas, but it costs me maybe $1, not even $1, 50 cents. And then I charge $60 for a hot oil treatment. And it's demographics. If I was in Paducah, Kentucky, I might only charge $20 for a hot oil treatment. But I just widened my menu so that now I raised my ticket without even selling anything. This is what they needed. And the next time they come in, they're going to go, do you think I need another hot oil treatment? So just another little thing that I was talking about with Deborah. Right now, we were like stampeded in June. And now things are starting to slow down a little bit. People are getting afraid. So I am offering my clients a complimentary hot oil treatment. Costs me $2. Every time they come back in, they get a color service of more than $150. So I don't know what you got. I'm not trying to tell you how to run your business. I'm just saying there's little things to get people back and without having to lose any money or any time on. So that is our blue lightener. That's our dream oil. And this is the packaging you're going to get. And all of our packaging is completely changed. I changed everything from 2019. The book, I added 4 different colors. And I just want to tell you guys, I know I'm going to have questions on this, and I want to make sure that we cover it. In the book, because of COVID, I put, and I have approved the level 4 red, and it's just a red base, and it's beautiful. It is this.
Beautiful.
That is the red series, and I just love it. And also, when we get into some cutting techniques, these are one of the cuts that we'll be working on that we can start selling. Haircuts also.
Show them that cut again, William. Just hold it still for a minute so we can look at the cut and turn it to the side. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's what I call a modified shag.
Yep, you do it. Yep. Beautiful.
It's a modified shag. And this is Phyllis. Phyllis is that client that if she never comes back to me, I don't care. Everybody has one. You love her to death, but she annoys the crap out of you. She's always the one that says, can you put one more foil just right here? You know, so Phyllis is the client that I always try everything on. When they were doing baby bangs, I gave her embryo bangs. You know, yeah, but she always comes back. So anything that you want to try, honestly, guys, this is the truth. Do it on your in-laws. In-laws are best friends because they all expect it for free. So I always like to joke, and it's like, yeah, I got a new color that I want to try out. Would you like that? Well, no, I kind of wanted to keep what I got. I said, well, make an appointment. So we have 5, we have 10, we have 20, and we have 30, and we have 40 volume developers. Make sure that I have gone through all of our color series. So our mochas, we have a 5 mocha, a 7 mocha, and that is a violet warm. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but I want to have a nice violet brown that leans violet and has some richness, but I also wanted to make sure that it was salonable. So our mocha is in, for Scruples True Integrity, it goes to your gold violet. So our 5 mocha is 5 gold violet. Our 7 mocha is 7 gold violet, and our 9 mocha is 8 gold violet. And for the Scruples High Def, you can achieve a mocha with a 5 neutral gold. And we put that right in the middle. So it's 7 and 7 for TI, but remember that 2 level darker. So to create a gold violet or a mocha in Scruples High Def, you're gonna use, it's gonna be a 5 neutral gold in your color chart in the High Def. So you'll be able to create a mocha or a gold violet. Now, our golds is where things shift a little bit. And our golds are beautiful. So Scruples golds and so's High Def golds. So our golds becomes Scruples' neutral warm. That makes sense? So our 4G is actually Scruples TI 4NW. Our 5G is 5NW. But our 5G is TI's 5W, but it is Scruples High Definition 3G. So we've dropped down 2 levels. We're at 5, we went to 3. And our 7G is 7NW, but it's a 5G in a 5 gold in high definition in your gels. So I don't want you to think that you're gonna not have the range that you have, because you've got 12 colors in high definition that you're trying to formulate all these other colors with. Just imagine now the simplicity of being able to achieve that color with 1 tube. You don't have to mix 3, you don't have to mix 4BV, you don't have to mix 10BG, you don't have to mix 2G, 4G, you don't have to mix any of those to create that 1 color. You just take your tube and put it on with your developer and you're done. and that is in your golds. Now we're going to move to the suns, and our sun literally is a soft strawberry, a coppery color, but it's subtle. It's very salonable. So our sun series, um, our sixth sun actually goes all the way across, skips the natural copper in TI, but it goes, our sixth sun becomes high definitions 8 strawberry, which is a beautiful color. Some of the best colors I've seen that are natural, that are strawberries, are from high definition gels. So our Sun series in the Prorituals is a beautiful level 8 strawberry in high definition. And then our 8th sun is a beautiful level 9 natural copper in true integrity. So we're filling those gaps in. Really, it's apples to apples, and then we're shifting mindset of not having to mix 2 to 3 or 3 colors. Because sometimes, you know, guys, when I used high definition, I would mix 3 colors, and then I was so creative that I'd add a cap of this and a fourth a cap of that, and you know, a teardrop of this. So it was a special formula. It was all William Whatley's formula, and I didn't need it, but in my mind I did. So I just want you guys to feel comfortable that one tube is going to be able to get you a beautiful level 8 strawberry. It's 6 sun. Our coppers fall right in line with the TI's copper. Our intense copper, our 9 intense copper, is the TI's brilliant copper, which is the 8C. So I want to show you guys these. So this is our 9IC that falls right into your level 8 copper in true integrity. So, and that's your brilliant copper. That's your level 8 brilliant copper. So then we have our copper blondes, and we call them blondes because they're in a level. For me, this is a copper brown. This is a copper blonde, but just for the sake of the book, we just kept them 6 copper blonde, 7 copper blonde. So these are what you guys have in true integrity as natural coppers. They really are very soft and very, very natural. You can see just a little bit of the soft natural copper. And this is the color that most people, when you say copper, this is enough for them. They want it to be, and I like to mix my copper and my sun together. If I'm doing a melt, I might do a sun or a copper at my base and mid strand, and then I'll melt a sun through the mid strands and the ends, so I have 2 different colors going on. And now I'm doing a melting technique, and I can charge more for it. So your copper blondes, so your 9IC is your brilliant copper 8. Your copper blondes are your natural coppers in the true integrity. But what I like about this also is that we don't leave you guys out in the high def. So our 7 copper blonde winds up being your 6 copper in the high definition. And again, Deborah and I placed that in the 7 series, 7 level, even though we're placing it in the 6 in the Scruples high definition level range. Again, you can tweak it either with less developer or more developer to get a more intense copper or a less intense copper. Okay, and you can always add 6R to it to intensify it if you want to have a more of a red copper. Our next series is our RR series. And I just want to show you guys, because the reds, all the other colors are pretty self-explanatory. Your mahoganies, your auburns, they're straight across the board. But when we get to our reds and our coppers, there's a little bit of explaining to do. I just want to make sure. So this is a level 7 intense copper, or intense red. This is a 7 red intense fire. So we use this as an intensifier in our other reds and in our coppers, but it also is beautiful if you want to pre-lighten somebody to a level 9 or 8 or 9 and put this on there. Oh my gosh, it'd be amazing. But just remember, guys, because of our chromoprism technology, everybody always says reds fade. They're the hardest to get in the hair, and the hardest to get in the hair and the easiest to come out. Our reds are a commitment. When I put a red on somebody, I tell them, you cannot come back tomorrow and want me to take this out, because it's not happening. Because otherwise, it's either going to be taken out with scissors or bleach, and either way, your hair is going to be an inch long. So just remember, our reds are truly red. So if you have a client that they love red hair and they're always complaining that they never can hold red hair, our Prorituals reds hold in the hair because of the chromoprism technology. So, and I told you about the 6R and the 4R. We will have those the 1st of September. Because of COVID, it kicked us back 3 months. September. So what's before September? October? August. We should have had this already. But because of COVID, it threw us off 3 months. But I made them put it in the book to make sure that I got it. If it's not in the book, I don't get it. So that's your coppers, your intense coppers, your reds, and your intense reds. And again, you can use that intense red in your scarlet reds, in your violet reds, in your mahogany reds. It's a great kicker. So don't be afraid to use it, especially if you love reds. And I also want to say for sure, everybody out there listening to me, I want you to go on to Prorituals Professional Users Private Forum. I have Jeffrey James, I have Carla Vasquez, I have my whole artistic team, plus some of the design team. But there's 1,000 people on there. Please post your pictures. We love that. We'll be doing some contests in concert with BMI and with Perfect Look on some prizes. I'm working on some things that for education for all of you guys. That I really think that you guys, that there's some amazing talent at Perfect Look that I want to steal. So. I'll borrow them. Jesse, I'm going to borrow them. I won't steal them. I'll borrow them. But I think that we're going to have a great synergy, especially from working from behind the chair. If you're interested, talk to Deborah, talk to Will. When you get to me, go through your levels of perfect look. When you get to perfect look, there's a level to go with manufacturers, and I'm the one that decides who gets hired at the education side of the manufacturer. So I would really love to have you on board. You just make sure I got everything covered here. I don't think I've gotten to the blondes yet. So we have our metallics, and they're going to be in the book. And we've decided that I think we're going to bring on a couple of the metallics, but in the metallics, our 10 PA, which is going to be, I got to find it. The 10 PA is your 10 pearl, but it is high definitions platinum. So the metallics 10 PA is your 10 pearl from TI, but then it rolls over to the platinum in high definition. In our high lifts, our 10S is your ULN because it's basically the neutral of the high lift. Our 10SA, which is the cool level 10, that's going to fall into the ULA. The 10SP is 10 pearl. Did I go in on my crazy banshee about 10SP yet?
No.
About making sure that 10SP is going to become your best friend. You guys, like I said, I have lived my life at the shampoo bowl, praying to the color god. Sometimes she answers, sometimes she doesn't. You know, when you're saying, please, 40 volume, just move a half a level on a level 5, you know it's not going to move. But you take her out in the sun and you go, see, it moved a whole half a level, you know, but it didn't, you know, so you know next time you got to do a soap cap. So I don't know if you, I mean, how many of you guys have used your soap cap? If you can't get that to move a half a level, this is what I've always done. I'll take and I'll go and I'll mix a 5 or 10 volume soap cap with a little bit of my 10LB, so it has that ammonia booster in it, and either use a clarifying shampoo because it has a little bit higher alkalinity, and you literally just, while it's on damp hair, I throw a towel over their face, massage it into the scalp, into the hair, not into the scalp, let it sit. Within 3 to 5 minutes, it'll pop it right off, rinse it off, condition it, they'll never know. But 10SP will save your life. If you get a client and you're trying to pre-lighten, and let's say you're trying to get to a 10 and you wind up at an 8, 8.5, you've taken it off too soon. I've done that before. Trust me. I've nicked people's ear, you know, yanked people's earrings out, you know, they're, you know, and if they were bigger than a carrot, I could never find them. I have so many 1 carat diamond earrings that don't match, but I only wear one at a time anyway. So, the 10SP is a level 10 silver pearl. What I'm telling you is that if you run into a situation where you don't get the lift and it's 8 o'clock at night, and you don't want to go and put lightener all over their head again. If you take the 10SP, shampoo their hair off, make sure you get all the bleach out of their hair. And I tend to do that sometimes with a soft clarifying shampoo. The clarifying shampoo I like is about a 6. It's just past the 5.5, so it opens up the cuticle a little bit more. And then I'll put my 10 SP on, leave it on for about 10, 15 minutes with 510 volume. It will completely get rid of the yellow. So she's not going to be any lighter than a level 8, 8.5, or whatever you pre-lighten her to, but it'll get rid of the canary yellow. So, you know, you're not dealing with this color of hair anymore. So it'll wind up, after you do that with your 10 SP, and let's say you got a level 8 that you got that canary, it's going to wind up a nice level 8 in here, but it's not going to have the yellow. It's just a safety net that I just wanted to let you guys know, that because you guys are going to be carrying the 10 SP, and anytime if you're doing any kind of lightening with the hair, bleaching or pre-lightening, it's a go-to. And let's say you want to get a shade level. I'll take and pre-lighten to a level 10. Like this is one of the Danny's pastel colors. And it's been done and overdone and overdone. But let's say this is lifted to 10, and then he went in and did a peach base. I don't know what formula he used, but I'll go in and lift to a level 10, and I'll put my 10 SP all over it. Now, when you go to the Prorituals Professional Users, you're going to see one of my artists. She has a model there. Her hair is beautiful white, but it has 3 different tonal values of the whites and the violets going through it, because she lifted her to a level 10. She put 10 SP all over it, let it process for 10 to 15 minutes. It got rid of every bit of yellow. So then when she went into her level 12s to add shades, you could see the contrast. So it just depends on how far you want to go and what you want to do with your blondes. I have probably 4 clients that I do that on that are willing to spend the money on it. But it will make the yellow will not come back in 6, 7, 8 weeks, because I've taken the 10 SP and one more step at the bowl, 15 minutes, and then I put my metallics on afterwards. So I mean, there's so much color world, and I mean, I can't wait to start getting into applications, melting, balayaging. We have an amazing balayage board that if you're balayaging, it's a great way to hold the hair and get your lightener on the board, and it has teeth at the bottom of it, so you literally can pull it right through your hair, so it makes sure that it gets your lightener on the underneath part. And then I always take on my board, and I'll put a lot of lightener on my board first, then I put my hair on it, so that I make sure that I got color or lightener underneath the hair. So I don't have to lift it up, because there's nothing worse than having spotty pre-lightened hair because we didn't get it on underneath the section. Let's see where do I have that? Guys, this is one of Danny's blueberry. I was looking through his collection. He did this. This is this is what they were talking about, blackberries. So if you look at this, you can see the blackberry base. He just went in there with some of the 5i, the violet, and added that as accent colors. So there's your blackberry, but he just went in there and just did some accent colors. This beautiful blackberry, you'll be able to achieve your blackberries with the Pro Rituals. This is a beautiful color.
Beautiful. Very nice.
And it's so, I mean, this is, guys, I didn't put any spray shine on this. This is mannequin hair, and it's shiny. Have I missed anything?
Hey, William,
Yeah.
did you talk about the correctors, the green?
Oh no, thank you. So we have a blue, a yellow, and a green corrector. So if you're used to sometimes some lines have an olive series, because sometimes you want to, instead of because blue your blue violet is completely neutralizing your warmth. Ashes tend to matte it, so it still allows a little bit of, that's why you can get let's say you can get a turquoise. Turquoise is blue and green, okay? That's as cool as you can get. But a turquoise is actually a vibrant, bright color, right? So you can take our green corrector or additive, and you can add it to our fundamental series, which is a neutral warm, which has yellow. Yellow and green make what? Olive.
Yep.
So you can make an olive color for a specific client if you need an olive-based product. Yellow is great to go into your strawberries. It's great to go into your any kind of gray coverage, any kind of resistant gray coverage. And blue will give you the most beautiful blue blacks. It'll give you the most beautiful auburns. It'll give you the most beautiful brunettes, but just a little bit. You don't need to use a lot of it. It just is going to give you that the sheen and the shine. So we have those correctors, and a lot of times when we get into corrective coloring in the because that's going to be something that I want to work with Deborah and Will on, that we have an organized corrective coloring program that we'll be working you through. You'll be using the correctors a lot in corrective color, but you can use it every day a little bit in almost every formula. It makes it richer. It makes it shinier. It just adds that little extra kick. So don't forget about your additives, your blue and your yellow and your green. And especially if you're looking for like a beautiful blue black, throw your blue corrector in there into your real low series, your ones, your twos, your threes. If you want a real brilliant blue, but you can also add the blue. Let's say somebody is a level 6 cool, but they got a lot. You're going to use a level 6. You're going to use a level 6 ash or a blue violet base. Our cool is as True Integrity's Ash and uh, BV, Blue Violet in High Def. If you need an extra kicker, throw some blue in there. You
Right.
know, and I don't know if I've told you, if I said this, because I want you guys to really stand out. I want you guys to be the premier salons. You already are. But I want you to think about this, and I get a little soapboxy, but the most used hair color in the professional business is 6N. Everybody, if you don't have a 6N, everybody's throwing a fit. Okay, so our 6N does lean a little cool, but I don't know how many clients I have gotten because they've gone to 3 or 4 hairdressers and they are level 6 and they wind up coming to me. They wind up coming to me. They've gone to 2 or 3 hairdressers and they put a 6N on them and they wound up with, they had too much underlying pigment that fought the 6N. So the 6N didn't have enough coolness to it, so their warmth popped through, and they thought they had brass. So what I did is I took my level 6 natural, and I mixed it equal parts with my level 6 cool blue violet. So they thought I was God because they never had any underlying pigment pop through. When you go into the grocery stores, and I want you guys to all do this as a test, and it pains me, but I still do it. When I walk into a grocery store or Walmart or Target, I look at their colors and what they're selling. They're not selling 6N. They're selling no brass brunettes. They're selling ashes. All those people that couldn't get the color because of their underlying pigment that the N wasn't working for, they're buying these whatever these L'Oreal and all these no brass brunettes, beautiful no red brunettes. I mean, the number one selling box color for consumers is ash. The number one selling color for us is neutral. So think about what the client is wanting and what we're thinking. So it's okay if you need to add a cool to a neutral so that you're not sending somebody out and all of a sudden you don't see them after 3 times because their underlying pigment's popping through. You honestly, you start sending people out where they go, I've had this level 6 color for 10 years. This is the first time I've never had my hair turn red. And they think brass is red. I've gotten more new clients from using a mixture of a neutral and a cool or a blue violet ash base together on a client than I can even think of. So don't open up your mind that 6N is not fix all. Sometimes you need to think about the color world and see what our competition's doing. See what these big multi-billion-dollar companies are doing to try to steal our clients. Because they're doing something, because they're getting billions of dollars from it. They're even showing them how to balayage their own hair. And my term to that is, when I have a client call me and say, I'm going to try this balayage kit. And I said, go right ahead. She says, you think I should try it? I said, absolutely. I charge $80 a half an hour for color correction.
Very nice.
Good business.
So let's open it up for questions now, because I'm sure we have a ton. Because I've talked forever.
Okay, so real quick, William, also tell them about the helpful hints in the book that are next to the colors. So
gosh, you thank you so much, because you always remind me. We spent so much time putting them in there, and I always overlook them. um, in your book, no matter what level it is, you're going to look over and it's going to say, um, let's find a good one. Let's say, okay, so right here, um, in every series, there's a little helpful hint. It's a little bit of a guide for you. And it's a cheater card, what we call a cheater card. So it says the scarlet is a red-violet base. Vivid, intense reds with fiery red results. You can mix this with an N to control the intensity because N is what? Our N's are cool. So if you wanted to control the intensity, you'd use our N, not our fun, to control the intensity. If I wanted to control gray coverage, I would add the N or the fun because it's a neutral warm. It has yellow. So, you also what I love about this is it opens up your mind. You can mix it with N to control intensity. You can use chocolate or the 6RT, the red brown, or a fundamental for gray coverage. So you could add some chocolate to your scarlet. How beautiful would that be? Super rich.
Very
You know,
nice.
so all these little cheater things, don't let your client know that you're reading those. You just say, by the way, I was just looking at this color, and I can just automatically tell that I could probably mix a chocolate with that, and it would be fabulous. That's a great idea, William. Well, thank you.
Hey, William, talk about the color wheel on the back page of the chart too, and where all the colors live on here. So
Okay.
everybody knows the base of the colors.
All right. So, you guys are not used to European numbering system, but the way that a color chart lives is there's numbers for each tonal base. 0 is green, 1 is ash, 2 is violet, 3 is gold, 4 is orange, 5 is mahogany, 6 is red, 7 is brown matte, 8 is pearl blue, 9 is soft violet. Um, you can see that our green corrector lives like literally in the greenest green on the color wheel. Our yellow corrector is a 0.33. It is the beginning of what an intense yellow is. Okay? Our blue corrector, it lives literally 0.11, which is as blue as you can possibly get. You put two ones together, it's blue, blue. So it'll show you right in there. Your fundamentals live on the warmer side. So you'll see right here, 1 through 10 fundamentals. So fundamentals, that's your guide. Anything warm lives in your reds, your golds, your yellows, before it goes into your greens and your ashes. So all the reds and coppers and golds and neutral warms, they all live on the fundamental side. The cooler side all lives on the lower side of the color wheel. And you can literally find out where it is. So like, I don't know how close I can get to you here,
Yeah, that's
but
great.
there's 10SP. 10SP truly lives in violet. That's why if I've got this and I go straight across and I'm living in Big Bird Land, I can fix it with my 10SP.
Yep.
So, and then it also helps you with your underlying pigments. I mean, like I said, this book, and then also I want to, let me finish this. I have, uh, uh, onset, not dementia, but too many thoughts go through my head at once. Um, but I guess that is a form of dementia. Because as soon as they go in, they go out. Your underlying pigments live right here. It also tells you your control tone for your underlying pigments.
Right.
So, guys, I mean, honestly, if you just thumb through the book, you'll get a lot of things. Our tonal, our foundation colors, our our ends, our neutrals, our golds, our controls, or what do we call our control series, our ash, our blue violets, our beige, our violets, our high lifts, of course, your warm reds, your cool reds. It all lives. It all tells you where it lives. So, um, um, if you have any questions, you can always ask. Um, but uh, the color wheel lives off of primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. Most of the fashion tones have a primary and a tertiary color. And you guys all know what primary, secondary, tertiary is, right? Primary is red, yellow, blue. Secondary is orange, purple, and green. And then tertiary would be a uh, uh,
Green,
a blue
yellow,
green,
orange.
uh, orange, what you said.
Yeah.
So um, um, more so from level 6 and down is usually a primary and maybe a secondary. 6, 7, and 8, pretty much neutral, pretty much even. But when you start to get into your 9s and above, it's usually a primary and a tertiary to get to your 12P, which is uh, far out on your violet scale. But you still
Yeah.
want enough dye load to make it work. And guys, if you just switch up your developer let's say you can mix your metallics with your high lifts. They're still permanent hair color, but the metallics are deposit only. If you're going to use a metallic, do not try it with 30 or 40 volume. And I'm going to tell you honestly, from my feelings as a hairdresser, that I never, ever do more than 20 volume with bleach. If I have to do it again, I will. I never put, if you see somebody walking a client to the dryer with 40 volume bleach on their hair, throw yourself in front of them. Because there's nothing where, I mean, there's nothing worth your reputation than frying somebody's hair off. Our technology will help you get there, but sometimes when you've got hair color that's got 20 years or 10 years of level 5, you're still going to get white roots, orange mid-strand, and barely budged ends. So it's much better. What I do is I'll do a heavy foil and know that I can put that under a dryer and watch it because heat conducts, but it's not on the scalp. And I can put my dream oil in there. And then once I take those foils out, then I can go back in and do a bleach or an on the scalp process. And then the color looks $1,000,000 better. But you got to make that perfectly clear to consultation. If somebody wants to go from a level 5 to a level 12, it's not going to happen in one setting. Just ask Kim Kardashian.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so and explain to them the cost. You know, we're all afraid of talking about cost. You know, that is we make a plan, just like with a dentist, just like with everybody. You sit there and you make a plan, and then and then I say, okay, so I just got, you know, 3 implants done, and he said, you need to have these done. And I said, how much is that going to be? And he says, that'll be $12,000. I said, well, we're going to do 1 every 3 months. Because $12,000 is a lot of money. But I mean, with my clients, I mean, you know, I wish I could charge $12,000, but I always will adjust things. Say, you know what? We can do some baby lights. We can start today and we can do a foil, and I'll get you as light as I can. And in 4 foilings, you'll probably be where you want to be. And it's going to save you the integrity of your hair, and it's going to save you money. But I also just put a client that was going to be a nightmare in 4 appointments 8 weeks apart. So I know now that I have just taken this new client and given her a plan that she's got an end goal. So it's just perceived value. The more that you make yourself look like an artist instead of a mechanic, the more they're going to ask from you. Anything else besides I'm just talking hairdresser now because I feel so comfortable with you guys.
That's wonderful. So I asked a few people to unmute. I asked Tammy Francis, Savannah, Sarita, Sam, and Miss Hart. If you guys have any questions, unmute. Miss Lana, ask you also. Anybody have questions?
No.
Seriously, come on, throw one at me.
Okay, how about Heidi? Heidi's group. I unmuted her. Let's see who else I have on here. Unmuted. I think everybody's.
You should.
Let me see. I'm gonna unmute everybody.
I have a question, Deb.
Okay, go ahead, Tina.
Are your bright colors like direct deposit, or do you add peroxide to them?
No, they're direct dyes. Do not add peroxide, please.
Okay.
And I have, like I said, you guys will get the ones that have what we have. These are the Propigments, and you'll get the ones that they brought in, but they're beautiful. But I'm going to give you a couple of hints with them, okay? We all know that. Who is this? Tina?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are my peeps with the Propigment, with the Vivids. I can tell. So you guys already know, and Miss Hart, you look so enthused there. she's like I'm at home and I want to get paid for this. For the Propigments, I just want to let you guys know, please, they are direct dyes. I recommend that you do after you do your pre-lightening, even though you have pre-lightened to the level, I mean, if you're gonna want to get this color, this orange, let's say you want to get this orange, you know you got to lift it to at least a 9 and maybe even a 10. Okay, but I just want to tell you, if you want this to last longer, if you added the 10 SP to take out the unwanted yellow but still leave the orange, and then put your direct dye right on that, put them underneath the dryer just for 15 minutes, So it's open, so it opens that cuticle layer, because there's nothing to open the cuticle layer on direct dye. So then take them out from underneath the dryer and let it cool. I sometimes will take a towel and just run cold water on it, and then I just lay it on the head with the cap on it, so it shuts that cuticle layer down. And then I try to be as gentle as I possibly can about getting color around them. I try not to shampoo out the direct dye. I know that's crazy, but I will rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse. And then I tell my client that this is a direct dye. This is not permanent. This lives by shampoos, not by days. So if you shampoo your hair every day, say goodbye to what I just did to your hair in 10 days. It's gone. It's a beautiful pastel.
Yeah.
But just even if you don't do the 10 SP, you're just going to do it regularly. You're going to pre-lighten the hair, get it to that level. I still would take them after I shampooed them. I would shampoo them with a clarifying shampoo that's around a 6 pH, so I keep that cuticle open. And then I would put my my Propigments on, comb it through really good, and then I get in there and I really work those ends. I really work those ends because they're so porous. They're so porous. And if you've got a porosity filler besides water that you guys already have, use that porosity filler just a little bit, because it'll pull that into the hair even a little deeper.
Okay.
Okay. And then if you have, I'm going to tell you another little secret that won't cost a perfect look, nothing but a few gallons of vinegar. This goes back, and Deborah, you know about this. Get white vinegar and take a gallon of white vinegar, mix it with a gallon of distilled water, and when they come out from the dryer, and you rinse cool water on them, pour that vinegar water over them. It's acid. It will lock that cuticle layer down.
It's an Easter egg color.
It gives you. I'm just telling you, vinegar is acidic, and it lives at about a 4 pH. So it locks the cuticle down, and that's what we want to do. And then at-home care is so important. When they shampoo their hair, they cannot shampoo their hair. I know people love to have a hot, soothing shower. Tell them not to touch their head. They can do a nice cool rinsing on their hair, and then maybe do a slight shampoo at the root area and rinsing, and then I would do a leave-in conditioner after they've towel blotted it, so that I get them away from water. Water is a 7 pH. Water is the worst thing you can do to direct dye, because that's going to drag it out of the hair before anything. So just that, I mean, that's just, we do a lot. I mean, we've done a lot of Naha stuff with Propigments or with Vivids and stuff. And let me just tell you, you put, I mean, I've taken and done, 6 different colors, and I've taken literally a foil at a time, and the hose just dripped water so that we could get that off, because there was so many different colors on it that it was just there for the picture. And then once the picture was done, the next day, it was just, they washed their hair, and it was just mixed all the way through. But if you're just doing a 1 or 2 color situation, your Propigments you're going to love, but just take caution and know that there is some home care involved, and there is some salon prep involved to get your optimum results. And then have fun. Mix them together. I mean, look, I can see both of you guys. If it comes out a little brighter or a little redder or a little, you know, purpler or a little bit more pastel, neither one of you are going to be irritated. And I could probably tell that your client would be like, oh, well, I kind of like that. Well, I kind of like that too. Write that down. Write that down. Well, I sure will. You don't write it down. It's a visit, you know? So I think you'll like all the colors.
Thanks, William. Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time.
Are you guys bored to death, ready to go home? Because it's probably, what time is it? It's probably 8 o'clock because I talk way too much.
Thank you, William. Appreciate
I
you.
appreciate your time, and I think that we are done with Zooms for the week for Perfect Look, but I know we'll be setting some more up for Cracked Hair Fix, and then maybe I'll show you guys some compressed cutting, which would be kind of fun, because this haircut was done, I'm not exaggerating, I sectioned this off in 4 zones. This was done in 8 cuts, and it was done.
Wow.
Wow.
And it was this long, one length.
Wow. Very nice.
Baby's just to be speeding now.
Huh? What? What'd you say?
We'll be speeding through our haircuts now.
Yeah. And I want you to, because I want you to spend more time on finishing. Finishing sells products, not cutting hair. So if you can get a perfect haircut in half the time and spend your time on finishing, then that helps them buy the product so that they can get their hair to look like you do it. You guys are awesome. I love your guts. Go home.